In this tutorial I'm going to be going over the Utilities tab here, and we're going to start from the left and move our way to the right. Now in this video, to keep the file size down, I will be pausing the video to bring a new item out here, and if you don't see me bring it out, it's probably because I paused the video and already put it out here. Alright, as you can see, I got this object selected and I'm in selected object mode. And as soon as I press the stretch tool, it automatically jumps over into auto select. So when I press here, just keep an eye on the auto select so you can see it happen. And I clicked it, and sure enough, it highlighted it and activated it. Now this works on edges, this works on points, and this works on faces. Okay, I'm going to click one time on this face, and I'm going to let go of the left mouse button. Now what happened is it's going to follow wherever my cursor goes. I don't actually have the left mouse button held down. It's just following my cursor. As you can see, it's following in all directions. Now I'm going to tap the space bar, but before I do, you'll notice there's a green and red ruler line by my cursor. That means there is no constraint and I can move in all directions. Now as soon as I tap the space bar, as you can see, I only got one color line or ruler line by my cursor. That is the horizontal constraint. I can move it right to left. You would never want to, if you see these two lines here, you would never really want to cross another line like that because you'd get some uncommon results. Now if I move it back over here, now if I try to move my cursor up and down, you can see it won't go on that axis. Now I'll tap the space bar again. Now I got a green one. This is for the vertical ruler constraint. I can move up and down, but I can't move it left to right. I'll tap the space bar again. I got both of the red and green. Now I can move it in all directions. I'll just tap it one more time. We'll set it over here to the right side, and I'm going to click one time. This is going to go ahead and lock it into that position where I can move my cursor now. As you can see, I'm still over in stretch mode. Now the lines where I'm talking about were the ruler constraint lines, and you can see them down here in the bottom where my cursor is at. The red and green means no constraint. The red constraint ruler is for the horizontal, and the green one here is for the vertical axes. Alright, now this time, instead of just clicking and letting it off my mouse, I'm just going to hold the left mouse button down. Before I do it, keep an eye down here because I'm going to be tapping the space bar, and I'll let you know when I do it. So just keep an eye down here. So I'll just click and drag this time. Alright, now I'm getting ready to tap the space bar, so keep an eye on the bottom. As you can see that the ruler constraint went to that direction. And as soon as I let go of the mouse button, automatically jumps back into no constraint, which is very handy. Now this thing here, if you're in auto select, if for some reason that you are close to a point but you're not on it, or close to an edge and you're not on it, it's going to try snapping to the point here if it's not selected. So if I click here, I'm going to left mouse click. As you can see, there's a little circle over there on that point to the right of my cursor. As soon as I move my mouse, then you can see it snap to it. Alright, so it's best to just go ahead and make sure that you are actually on the item that you want to select. So if I'm on the edges, we'll select it like that. It works on faces, and it works on points. Okay, instead of being in selected object mode first, let's say we're going to go into select face mode first. before we press the stretch tool. Now if I select it, as you can see, I got some options. It says for the normals. So look at the direction of the highlighted face and look at the angle that it's pointing at. So when I pull on it, it's going to try pulling that angle and direction. As you can kind of think of it as almost being in selection mode here. It's going to always try going in the direction and the angle that the face is pointing. Alright, this time we're going to select the edge mode, and we're going to select the edge here, and we're going to go ahead and loop this around, and we're going to select the stretch tool. As you can see, you'll see the normals over here, and if you click in here, you can toggle this on or off. So if I was to select in here, I'm going to tap the space bar, so I go up and down. Now this moves the edge here, or the loop edges, and like I said before, you would never want to cross another selected edge, so if I was to move past this one above it, you get uncommon results. So I'm going to left mouse click, and I'm going to switch modes again, then we'll do it like this. Validate when you're done. The stretch tool here and the manipulator have a lot in common. So if I was to move a face and pull on it, I would have to grab the manipulator each time. So I'd select the face, then grab the manipulator to move it. Now I could be faster if I used the stretch tool. Let's go back into selected object mode before we start. Then we'll just go ahead and select here. And all I got to do is left mouse click and let off the mouse, and it's going to follow it. Same over here. Oh, and I grab no manipulator. It's just going to happen as it's like almost a double click in action. So it'd be click, drag, and click, click, drag, and click. There is one thing that the stretch tool does not work with, and that is symmetry. If I try selecting it, this tool does not work with symmetry. Each time this tool doesn't work with symmetry, the symmetry plane turns red. So it's not going to work with it. But let me recapture this when I said about selecting the face, then having to pull on it. You can actually just really just select the face and just drag, and you actually don't have to be on the manipulator to do that. And if you want to, you can just hide the manipulator. It's kind of a click and a drag here. It's kind of got a little sticky spot to it, so you'll just kind of have to get accustomed to it. I have a cube here with a Boolean operation, and to make the cut here, I use the line tool, which was the circle. Anything that's made in the dynamic geometry and full DG mode, you can edit with the stretch tool. So I'll select the stretch here, and I'll select the curve that I want to edit. And we'll take a look here. Then you can edit the Boolean operation. We'll go over the stretch tool one more time, and I'm gonna, since I'm in full DG mode here, I'm gonna go to the lines tool, and we're gonna do the arch here. I'm going to make a composite line here. I do have a video tutorial on how to make a composite line, and that's not in this video. You'll have to check the other one out. Then I'll select the interpolated curve. Now each time that I click is going to be a spot that I can edit with the stretch tool. So I'm going to click here, here, and here, and here. Double click to validate it. Now when I select the stretch tool, it gives me options where I can edit it. Now down here, as you can see, I got both lines selected, and if you double click on these, just get one selected. If you want to just edit one line, if you double click, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to sit there and click. Move your cursor over to the left. There's a little slash mark, and I'm just going to click here once. As you can see, now I can just edit this line here. Alright, I'm going to be going over the single copy here. My object is selected. I am in selected object mode. For future reference, I'm going to go ahead and select the face here, and you can see it's still, the object's still selected. I mean, things could still work and things might not, but it's always good rule of thumb to always be in the mode what you're going to be doing. So I going to be using a single copy, and I want to make sure I'm selecting the object that I want to make a single copy of. So with that said, I'm going to select the single copy, and when I do, I'm going to have a new property that's going to pop over here on the right. So I'll just go ahead and select that, and the clone is off. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little demonstration of what clone is. So we're going to just turn the clone on, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to click on this object. Anywhere would be fine, and this is going to make a single copy, and I can move it anywhere I want. I can tap the space bar to move it directly across. Then I can just single click, and it's just going to go ahead and validate it right there. Now since these are both cloned, whatever I do to this object will happen to this object, or vice versa. So if I select a face here, it happens over there. Control Z that, or vice versa. Control Z that. Now I'll go ahead and just delete this one here. Now this time we'll just do one with the clone off. So we'll go ahead and select the single copy, turn the clone off, click over here. I'll just click up here, and this time if I select face here, nothing happens over here, or vice versa. Let's go ahead and delete that one there. Now this can also make a single copy of one face or one edge. You can't have multiple ones. So I'll select the face here, select single copy. Now the clone must be off. If the clone was on, this is what's going to happen. I'll give you a demonstration. It didn't make a copy of the face. So just make sure the clone is off, and we'll click the face, and we make a single copy of that, and so on. And this is what I mean about you can't have multiple copies of faces here, is if I was to click here and drag and select the single copy, it's just only going to do one. It won't do the all of them that are selected. And always be careful about double clicking in the program. If you look up here and I start double clicking stuff, the modes will change. So I'll double click again to show you. So you're pretty much aware of that. Alright, I'm going to be going over the multiple copies here. I build me a little object here, and it's got some parts in it that are grouped. And when I press the multiple copies here, it's going to duplicate it. So I'm going to press it here. Now I have two different groups. We got the clone option. Turn it on and off. I'm going to turn it on. That way if I do something to one object, it'll affect the rest of the objects. Now we got the properties up here, the X, Y, and Z for the offset, rotation, and scale. So what I do is I just drag in here, and I'm going to use my scroll mouse wheel. As you can see, I'm offsetting it in one way, and if I go into the next one, I can adjust it up like this. Let's get a better view here. I want to take a look here, and I want to do some adjustments here. I'm going to kind of line these poles up just a little bit. The geometry is crossing here. That's not proper way, but this is just a little demonstration. And if you got a low-end machine, be very careful about ticking anything real fast or moving into these values really fast, because it could cause you problems. If you treat it right, it could be your best friend. If you mistreat it, it could be your worst friend. So let's go ahead and zoom this out. Now I got it says number 1. I want to make multiple copies, so I'll just go ahead and click out here, and this made multiple copies. Alright, now I want to kind of keep these grouped together, so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and validate this here, and I got this bottom one here, and I'll just do is just come over here and I'll drag it down into this group here. Now sometimes when you click this group, it won't happen. Sometimes you just got to come over here and just select the object. I'll just go ahead and scale this in a little bit, and we'll just go ahead and mirror to the other side. Once again, I'll just drag this down into this group here. That way we now have a set of stairs. I can adjust the width on the stairs. We'll go ahead and delete that one. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to set the rotation pivot using the multiple copy. So before I select it here, I've got this pole set up, and I got this end of the stair touching the pole. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make sure that the stair is selected and select multiple copies. Alright, for the rotation to work, I don't want to have any spacing between these two stairs right now. So I'm going to set this to 0. Type 0 in here and press enter. This is actually right on top of the other one, so it appears to be just 1. Alright, now let's take a look at this top of this pole here. The center of this is going to be my reference of the pivot. It doesn't matter how tall or high it is, it's just the pivot. So I'm just going to click here, the pivot there. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to let me turn this on so you can see a little bit better. Then I'm going to put the white, hold the shift key down, the white crosshair is going to come up, and I'm going to click it. I'll just set this back. And we'll adjust this around here. Alright, now I'm going to come over here, and we're going to set the rotation. And I'll keep on using the scroll wheel. And it's still going. Almost there. Let me just kind of zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing here a little bit. And we'll kind of need to adjust the offset of the height of the stairs. And let's go ahead and zoom this back. And we can go ahead and let's view all here. Then we'll come back here. And we'll validate it. As you can see, now the stairs are rotating around the pole, and they are rotating exactly around the center pivot where I marked it. Alright, I'm going to be doing the copy on support here, and this is unlike the multiple copies. This does it a little bit different ways. Here's the object I'm going to be using through this, and for demonstration what it does, it makes each copy for each vertex, that's actually each point. So I'll have an object on each one of these points. That's one way. Let's go ahead and hide this. And another way is, we'll select this one here. Now it'll make one per face. It'll make it in the center of each face. No matter if the face is short or long, it'll put it in the center. We'll just go ahead and hide this other one. Let's get started. So I'm going to select here. Please make sure that you are in selected object mode, and we're going to select the copy on support, and we're going to click this here. As you notice that it put it in the center of it, and I really wanted it on the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and abort that and show you how to fix that. And again, we'll press the copy on support. This time we'll select the center point option here and click, and hold the shift key down and snap to the bottom here. And once I did that, I can select anywhere here on the polygons, and it put it on the top. You can see the plus and minus for my cursor now. That means over the numpad on the far right numeric pad, if I press the plus, it increases it, or the minus decreases it. As you notice, I had the clone on. That means all these objects, if I edit one object, all the objects get edit. So I'll go ahead and validate this, and then we'll just go ahead and select over here. Just select back up here. As you can see, they're all affected. And we'll validate that. We'll go ahead and we're going to go ahead and delete these here. And you can also invert these. I don't know if I showed you this or not. We'll select the object here, select copy on support, and we'll invert it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hide this one here. And we're going to unhide the line back here. And we're going to do it like this. So with our object selected, we'll select copy on support and select the line. We have some options up here to rotate it, and also have some rotation options down here. And you can actually put your mouse in here and turn the scroll wheel, but I'm not going to do that right now. And that's how that's done. So we'll just go ahead and validate that. And we'll go ahead and let's find this other one here that I got hidden. There it is. And we'll just go ahead and just delete these right here for right now. And I'm just going to make one for this one here. So we're in selected object mode, copy on support. I'm going to select here, shift key there, and select here. And we'll validate that. Let's take a closer look. As you can see that it put a copy right in the middle of each face. Alright, I'm going to be going over the snap align. This has two functions. Snap, then the word align. Snap means snap to it, and align means align to it. And let me give you a little demonstration what that is, and instead of trying to explain it all the way, then you'll understand it. I'm going to be using this snap align icon over here for quick access. Now it appears that I have one object, and actually I have two, so I can show you a little comparison. So I'll just bring this one up. Okay, now this one here, and I'm going to tip it a little bit forward. Now this has different height in it, and I want to align. I'm just going to do alignment first. So I'm going to switch over to the top view and look at the two stars or snowflakes, whatever you want them. I want to put them back in the same position. I'm going to do alignment. So let's just offset this, but I want you to remember this, because at the end result this is how it's supposed to look. So I'm going to offset this here, then I'm going to offset it back just a little bit, maybe over here somewhere. Alright, let's just tip this back down. As you can see, they both have different height, and I'm going just to align it. Alright, this usually takes about 2 times to get it right, because usually it will never work on the first time in alignment. So what you got to do is make sure your object's selected, and we'll press the icon to activate it. Now if you look where my cursor's at, I got the red and green ruler line, and I need to align this in one axis, so I'm going to tap the space bar. I got the red one here. I'm going to select the center of this one here, then I'm going to go over and select this one here. Now let's go back to the top view mode just to take a look at it, little peaks. Not quite there now, so let's go back. Like I said, this takes 2 times. Now sometimes it takes a little panning because you might need to get to the side a little bit. Then we'll just tap the select the snap align again, tap the space bar. Alright, now let's take a top view look at that one more time. And there's the end result that I was telling you from the beginning. That's how it should look. Now this just made a alignment and it didn't snap to it. This is what you call align to. Alright, here I have a circle, and actually this is two halves. As I want you to look at it as a circle right now, and I'm going to snap align them together. So I'll slide this one over here, and when I in selected object mode, I'll just go ahead and press snap align, and I'm going to select this bottom point here, and I want it to snap it to this point here. And there you go. It snapped them, aligned them together. Alright, I'm going to do the snap to, or this is going to be the snap align, but this one is going to snap to it. So I got two boxes here. And I'll kind of bring this one up here. And I'll select here. I need to go back to the same object I selected first. And I want to select this point, and I want it to match to this point, which should put the two boxes together. And it did. And I can offset them. I'm going to select back here, and I'm going to select this point over to that point. As you can see, it offset the box. And this also, as you can see, the two boxes are offset. And this also works with edges also. So I'll select here. I'm going to select this corner edge, and this edge here should line the two boxes together. And it did. This also works with faces and edges. But instead of the object need to be selected first, we need to select the face first. Okay, I'm going to select here. Now I'm going to select the snap align, and I'm going to select the face. Little indicator went over on the edge. That's okay, but long as the edge was, or the face was selected first, and boom, the two faces join. Control Z that. And the same way with edges. Long as the edges is selected first, then select snap align, come back to the same object, then it connected just the two edges. Okay, I had paused the video and got me a new icon over here, and we're going to go over to the Layon tool. And what this does is reposition one object to another, and it lines both faces to one another, and each face has a center, so it automatically aligns the center also of each face. So let me select my object here. We'll start here. Now this would be real hard to do, to align this, since it's in different angles, and you probably have a hard time doing it. This tool makes it a lot better, so I'll just select this, and then we're going to select the Layon. I'll just select it up here for now. Then I need to select the face I want to start with, and I'll select right here, and I want it to lay on to this one here, and I can lay it on any one of them. Like I said, both of the faces are now touching each other, and both centers are matched together on both faces. You can go over here, and if you watch me as I use my scroll mouse wheel, I can turn it there. I can invert it, which would be going out the opposite way. And I can also switch to a different face to align it. I'll select this top one way up here so you can see it. That's a pretty handy tool because anything that's got an incline or something like that, trying to line it's really hard to do, so this makes it real easy to do. Alright, we're going to move on down to the taper here, and there's a little triangle right next to it on the corner of it. If you click it, it brings you down another menu here, and I'm going to select it here, and basically the same tools are over here. It's very self-explanatory. If you can see the two yellow lines left to right, then I got the red one top to bottom. We're going to pay attention on the yellow ones because then they're going to be the ones we're going to grab. And these are the axes, so if I switch here, then you can see that it went to the top. So I'd want to taper the top, so I'd grab up here and select like this and drag. Now I can also use the numpad with the plus and minus sign over there, because my cursor's showing a plus and minus sign, so I could just select it out like this and just, so remember, if you grab the top, you're going to taper the top, grab the bottom, and so on. And that same goes with the rest of the tools. Bend to the top, bend to the bottom. And might as well do twist since we're here. As you can see, it twists there. We'll abort that. One little tip you can do is you can actually select a selection of points here. So I'm going to select here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the transparency here. And what that's going to allow me to do, since I have the transparency on, is when I right click and make a selection, this will make a selection of the points all the way around it instead of just the ones facing forward. So if I turn around, select it all the way around it. So now if I want to I'll just go ahead and turn that back off. Now if I just wanted to, let's say, twist only that section, as you can see, it just twists there. So that's pretty handy. We'll abort that. And then we got the one, we'll select this one here, the deformer. As you notice, nothing comes up because you actually got to select it here. And what this does is got a little cage around it, and you can just select the point or how many points that you want to select, or do a marquee selection. And if you want to adjust the cage on it, you can select down here, and you can adjust how many points and how many square boxes that you want around it, around the object for the cage. And when you're done, just click it again, then you're back into the deformer mode here. Alright, we'll be going over the bend tool here, and how this works is it bends an object with a reference of a 2D line. Before we get started here, I'll make sure this is in full DG mode, and since we're going to use a 2D line, this object can only bend in one axis, so we're going to go to the view here and go to the front view, and I'm going to select the interpolated curve here, and I'm going to click here, here, click here, 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 double click to validate there. Now, like I said, this only bends in one direction. Just think of it as drawing on a piece of paper. You can only follow in that direction that the path's going. You cannot have it going this way like it's swaying, then turn around and make a sharp turn to the right or to the left. It's just not going to work. So we're going to select the object here. Then we're going to go ahead and select the bend tool. At this time, we're going to go ahead then turn around and select the path that we made that we want to bend. So we'll go ahead and validate that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just select the curve here, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. And this time I'm going to select the object. Now I'm going to select the stretch tool. I'm going to be able to edit the curve now. As you can see, here's my line, and here's a box. I can edit this box here just by moving on it, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna do the line. So I'm gonna select the bottom curve here. You need to select somewhere over in the hash mark here, this little slash here. Then we're gonna go ahead and edit like this. Now, when I set this up, I set it kind of a little high above the ground plane, is because sometimes when you are editing the curve here, this thing will like to try popping below the grid here, the ground plane, and popping up above it. So you might just want to set that up just a little high there. Here's a way that you can bend one object around another object using the bend tool. What I'm going to do is select the edge over here, as I'm looking at it as in front view, and we'll just go ahead and loop this here. And I'm just going to go ahead and shift click to just select a few of these. Go back into front view. Going to go ahead and use the curve extraction. We'll just go ahead and hide that, and there's our curve. If you look over here, the curve has got a number of points, and this is 13. So let's go select the cylinder here. Kind of want to make it kind of as long as this curve is going to be. So I'll start here, and I'll set it up kind of high here. I'm going to set it to 13. I guess you could probably go a little higher, wouldn't hurt. Alright, with that done, I have the object already selected. I'll select the bend tool, and we'll bring it over here to match it up. We'll set that back. And there's a sphere, and that wrapped all the way around the sphere. And if you notice, let me just go ahead and hide the sphere here. And remember, I said that the curve had 13 points. I also matched it up with the cylinder with 13 points. So there's 13 points, and this one here also has 13 points. So it matched up pretty good. Just turn these back on. Go ahead and delete that one there. Put this one back. Alright, we're going to be going over the group and ungroup. This is a good way of keeping things organized. And I'll show you a little sample. Let's say I was making a bicycle and here was the handlebar, front tire, and the back tire. And they are all separate objects. And I wanted to keep the tires in pairs because if I ever have to move them again, or move one, I'll have to move the other, and I could throw the space between them out of whack. So I can just go ahead and hold the shift key down and click here. As you can see, both of them over here in the scene tree already, and they're highlighted, so I'll group these. Now that way, if I ever have to move them, they all stick together, and I don't have to worry about the spacing getting lost when I move both the tires if I do have to move it for some reason. Now these do hold the cemeteries to each separate one, as you can see right there. And let's say that I did want to move a tire, it was out of whack. Well, I could do ungroup if I wanted to. Then I could move the tire, or you could actually just go down here and just select which one you want and actually move it again right here. But it's still in the same group. Then if I ever want to ungroup these objects, just press ungroup. And I'll turn off the cemetery for that one. Now they're back at the individual objects now. A lot of people use groups, and it comes in very handy. Alright, I'm going to go over show hidden objects and hide objects. Okay, now if I want to hide this one here, as it's selected over in the scene tree, I'm going to select hide. Well, of course, that was pretty simple. Now if I want it to show, I'm going to select it. Now it's going to kind of invert it. It's going to make these two disappear. Then I can just either select all, or if I select here and validate, it brings them back. So let me go over this a couple times because it looks kind of confusing, but it's actually pretty simple to understand. Alright, now if there's none selected in the scene tree and I press hide, I can select which one I want hidden. Okay, I want to let's say hide sphere and the box. Then I'll go ahead and validate it. Because a lot of times when you're working on something, you might want to hide something temporary and just bring it back later. Okay, now when I bring back show hidden, it's going to make this one here disappear, but this one will come back. So watch, I'll select it. Which ones do I want to come back? Okay, I want to have not both of them. I just want this sphere to come back, so I'll click it, and when I validate it, the cone's going to come back with it. So that's pretty easy to understand. So I'll do that one more time so you can understand it. So I'll just go ahead and press hide. I want the cube and the cone to hide and validate it. And if I want something to show, the sphere is always going to come back since it's already out there. And what do I want to come back? I want the cone. So now I'll have the cone and the sphere. Alright, we're going to go over Decimate real quick. Won't be very long. As you can see, I got a sphere out here and it's full of quads. And what this does, it helps optimize the objects, polygons, by reducing them. and it tries help maintaining its shape. Why it does it is if I turn it down here, it's trying to maintain its shape, but it replaces all the quads with triangles. Go to selection, select 3-point faces. As you can see, they're all triangles. So if you're into triangles, this tool's for you. Alright, I'm going to go over the Orient Normals here. This is more of a utility tool here. And these faces do have a front side and a back side to them. And there's not a lot, but there's some applications that can recognize a front side and a back side. So let me just go ahead and select a few of these, and we'll turn this on here. And the red arrows are pointing outwards. That's showing my faces are facing outwards rather than inwards. If they were facing inwards, in another program might not render it right, or it just might not even show up. These if they were facing inwards, it might just show invisible. And this is just a utility tool to change your normals. Alright, we're almost an hour into the video, and I'm gonna have to just skip this whole section here, because if the video gets too large, I'm not gonna be able to upload it. And this is probably an uncommon tool a lot of people use, and you can check your manual for that. And we're just gonna switch over and use the other tool here, the extract opening here. And when I select that, let's abort that one time. If you look at the object I got here, it's got 2 open holes, and it says extract opening. So when I click it, I can select all. Because I got 2 openings if you see real close, or I can just select this white line on the top and click it, and it turned red. And that's all it did until I validate it, and there it did. It does just like it says, it extracts from the opening hole. And I could just do that again for this one down here, and we'll do one for this one here. And that's how that works. Alright, we'll go into cut and slice, the last one here, and we'll select it, and we'll hold the shift key down, and we're going to start. That's going to be our start point, and a little red line is going to come up, and this is going to be our end point, and I'm going to click there. I can use the numpad, the numeric pad on the far right of the keyboard with a plus and minus sign to add many slices I want or decrease. Then I'll just go ahead and validate that. And I'm going to go down here and select the slices and hold the shift key down at the bottom one, select all of them, right click and group, and we'll go ahead and select that group again, and we'll go over here and add a little thickness to it. Validate that, and that's how that works. Thank you.